Okay, good evening and welcome to the Wednesday, April 12th, 2003 Orange Board of Selectmen meeting. We had a little bit of a delay there, but nothing to worry about. In the event of an emergency, I think everybody that's here came down the stairway to my right. This large audience's left would lead to the rear parking lot. In the event that you couldn't use that stairway, you could go straight down the hallway out the back, which would put you out towards the side of the firehouse, or up the stairs behind the wall with the clock on it, through the double doors and out the front. We'll put you in front of the town hall. With that said, please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll start on my left down there tonight.
Good evening, Mitch Goldblatt.
Good evening, John Carangelo.
Good evening, Ralph Oakenquist.
Good evening, Vincent Marino, Town Attorney.
Ann Denny, Secretary to the Board.
Judy Williams, good evening.
Good evening, PJ Shanley.
Okay, very good. First item is, mark all those out, is public participation. Public participation is for any item that is not an agenda item, and we allow 2 minutes per speaker on that. Would you? Yes, sir. You have to come up to the podium since you're new at this part of it, and give your name and address and go from there.
Get my 2 minutes.
Approximately.
I'm Ron Kay, and I live at 90 Hall Drive. I've lived here for 2 years, and I think it's a wonderful town. And I've lived a lot of places where I've been a journalist and seen how towns work well, big cities work well from New York to LA or badly. And my understanding, my conclusion is that when people, the public, has easy access to all the information about what's going on, it's a more vibrant, a more lively, where you get bigger attendance and a more informed public. And I look at the agendas all the time and I see enclosure. And I've talked to a couple of the people in departments, and they say everything's digitized, and it would take no effort to have those links to documents that anybody could look at, and somebody or groups of people could organize that and tell people what's coming next week or what happened last week. And I think as wonderful as Orange is, I think it would be far more vibrant if everybody knew what was happening. And I don't think it's a cost item of any significance, but I think it's for a public interest, something that would be terrific and very valuable. Thank you.
Worth considering. Yeah. Okay, they're not here for that. Public participation.
Good evening, Tom Paisano, 523 Fairway Road, Orange, Connecticut. Two quick items. One, I apologize, Ralph. I didn't give you a quick apology for interrupting your ringing the bell last time, so I apologize. But it is a form of a 2-minute way that our first selectman tends to discourage his components to speak. Like my wife, Peggy Paisano, wasn't allowed to speak last time. Anyway, we'll review that. I'm sure in the charter somewhere we can talk about 2 minutes or freedom of speech. But the second issue is real quick. Vin, I'm glad you're here. I don't know if you had time to look up our charter 3.6. We're shortly going to present to the town clerk a good number. Hopefully we're trying to get 600 signatures on a petition that was sent. And you may want to explain to the selectmen better than me what that would result and what's that does for the town and the townspeople. Okay? Thank you.
Okay.
Is that something to be addressed now, Vin, or not? No? Okay.
Is that it? No?
Nope.
Okay, at the table?
Thank you. Couple things. First of all, I want to do a shout out, kudos to the Amity Theater Group. They have once again put on a spectacular production. If anyone had seen Beauty and the Beast, you thought you were Broadway. It was that good. And great job for those students and the people that put on that great show. Second of all, next month is Shredding Day. Actually, it's this month. April 28th, this month.
Yeah.
April, before next month. April 22nd is Earth Day. It's also our Shredding Day and Haz Waste disposal. I have met with the people from the hazardous waste from the Regional Water Authority, as well as our town department, town engineer, our town highway foreman, and the people who are going to be taking the hazardous waste away. And we all got together and basically mapped things out the same way it was done last year. People who have hazardous waste will bring it down Tribute Way, which is the southernmost driveway from High Plains, go around the back towards the Rotary Cuzzacreo Pavilion, and just past there, drop off the waste. They do not have to touch anything, just pop your trunk. And people from Clean Harbors will take it from there. And then you'll proceed back out around the softball field and up the side of the track. There will be signs on the track saying, walkers look out for cars and drivers look out for walkers. And then in front of High Plains, we will have the Shredding Day, where people will bring documents, and you don't have to get out of the car there either, because we'll have people from the Orange Recycling Committee as well as the Rotary Club helping out, taking documents out of your car if you so choose, and they'll be shredded by Orange resident Joe Johnston from Affordable Solutions, who's helped us each time. We'll also have mattresses to be recycled. Those will be closer to the building at High Plains. You can bring your own mattress or box spring, or you can call Ken Lenz at the Lions Club, 795-3906, and he will arrange for it to be picked up at your driveway or front porch, as long as it's dry. Box springs and mattresses for a donation of $15 each to the Lions Club. The Rotary Club is sponsoring the event. The Rotary Club will be looking for donations towards their scholarship fund. And then we have the Orange Community Women will be under the pavilion. They will be taking clothing and shoes and small objects that they can sell or sell to savers to get money for their endeavors. And then we have Buy Nothing Orange, where people can bring things to exchange or take things to exchange. So we have a big Earth Day Recycling Day scheduled for 9 to noon, April 22nd. That's Saturday morning. So I hope everybody participates. Judy has a question.
I have a question. Do you have to register online for the
The
hazardous
Haz Waste, you do, well, you're supposed to register online. That will make things go much smoother if you do so ahead of time. If you don't, they will have people there with iPads to help you.
Yeah.
So they're there, that they're highly encouraging people to get in the habit, whether you take it here in Orange on the 22nd or any Saturday between April and October, except for holiday weekends, you still should be registering online first as to what you have. That's a great reminder, Judy. Thank you very much. And I want to thank Ann and Mary Shaw for getting things up on the website as well. It was very helpful. People have had questions, but I think less questions because we've got the information out there as to what's considered hazardous waste and some of the instructions.
I had one person come in and ask the other day, and I didn't have the answer. Who takes away the material? Somebody from the Water Authority, I presume.
Clean Harbors. The Water Authority actually...
Their concern was Public Works, and I said no.
Oh, no. Not our Public Works. No, Public Works, we will also, there's also going to be, Bob Britton's arranging for, I think, 2 dumpsters there for the excess bags and other things that are left behind. Once they pour out the liquids, things like that. We have dumpsters to take care of there, so that's going to be taken care of. But no, not Public Works. This goes to Clean Harbors.
There was a company that handles that.
Yeah, that's their job, and they'll be in like hazmat suits there. Yeah.
No, those.
Well, I'd rather it be hot than rain, I got to tell you. And the last thing is sort of a personal note. I appreciate the Board of Selectmen changing our last meeting to the first week of March, so I wouldn't miss a meeting, to go to Israel and Morocco with my wife. And we had a wonderful time. And some of you may be familiar with the practice of going to the Western Wall, the Wailing Wall, and saying a prayer on behalf of family and friends, and I was fortunate enough to be able to do that, go to the Western Wall, but I didn't have, and say a prayer, I did not have a written piece of paper to slip into the wall. However, I did something different. As part of my prayers, I prayed for the townspeople of the town of Orange, and instead of putting in a piece of paper, I put in the Orange Bicentennial pin into the Western Wall in Jerusalem. And you each can have a copy, and I have one for you too, a copy of the photo of the orange pin in the Western Wall. I don't know how long it stayed there, but I'm sure it's gone by now. But it's the feeling that counts, and I just want to let you know that I was thinking of everyone while I was there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very clever. I figured you were going to say the other pin, the oval pin. Okay, anybody else at the table? Seeing none, I have just a couple things tonight, a few things. Of course, first one was our good friend of the town, former teacher at Amity, softball coach and all that, Dan Duart. I think many people knew him. If some of you had him in school, and some knew him socially and all, but Dan was a terrific guy. Some people thought he was eccentric. Some people thought he had strong opinions. I thought he was a terrific guy and generally got along. So to his whole family, our thoughts were with them for their loss. Second thing, Mitch, yes, I agree with you. The Amity Broadway production, they just keep getting better. They do a better job since it started way back when, and it's just really amazing. It really what they are able to achieve up there. It's amazing. I was talking with somebody in that business, and they said, wouldn't it be something if they could get time to do it at, like, in New Haven, say, at Schubert or something, where some other, people, maybe some Yale people, college people and all, we get to see it. I said, you can't move the backdrops and stuff is the problem, but you would open those kids up to a whole different group of drama and art enthusiasts if they could get it down there for one of these times. That would be great. April is Donate Life Month. Please consider becoming an organ donor. You can enroll when you apply or renew your driver's license. Register online at www.registerme.org. And there's a picture upstairs in the hallway that reminds to be an organ donor, and that's Nicole Antea, who lives right down at the corner of Tyler City and Lambert, who's a double lung recipient, and she's done very, very well, and she's engaged, getting married. She's a great kid. She's a psychologist now, and wonderful family, and so when I read that, I think of Nicole and how well she has done. She was born with cystic fibrosis and lasted a long time before she was able to get a transplant and from a donor, which is always an unfortunate for one side and fortunate for the other. So anyhow, think about that. Thursday, April 20th, is the Board of Finance budget hearing. It will take place at 7 p.m. in the High Plains Cafeteria. The proposed town budget is on the website and available in the town clerk's office for review. Park and Rec started a week or two ago with online registrations. The camp is the big thing, of course, initially, but online registrations have started, and more programs will be available through the Park and Rec Department, available to register online. Took a long time to get it there, but did finally get it. You may see people in your neighborhood. They may be out in front of your house. They may be taking a picture. They might leave a door hanger on your door. But those are the people from J.F. Ryan that the Board of Finance and Board of Selectmen approved to be doing the revaluation. It was postponed by a year last year. They would have implemented this October. But now by them doing this now and doing the revaluations, it will implement for the October 2024 grand list, so it will affect your bill in July 1st of 2025, right, Tom? I believe so. I'm turning to the tax collector for those of you at home. I'm pretty sure right. It's often confusing, but that's always in arrears, so you need to remember that. And that's all I have tonight for public and announcements there. Minutes. To consider and act on the minutes of the March 1st, 2023 regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen. Were there any errors, omissions, or corrections? If so, page and paragraph, please. Getting dry myself.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All those in favor? Oppose, abstain, unanimous. Thank you. To consider and act on increase of the facility rental fees for High Plains Community Center. Evidently, last month, we only did half the job, so John is going to tell you what we're doing now.
And before we start, let me just say, Dan Duart was my accounting teacher also, so just my condolences to his wife and children out there. I think I misled you last month. The increase was also for the room rentals. We did go up $10 on the room rentals, so I think we need to clarify that and make that part of the motion, or correct the motion from last month, or make this
Well, we
retroactive.
would just make this
to-
separate to that, yeah.
I don't believe there's been any billing since then.
No. Okay, so anybody have a question for John on that?
John, so everything's just gone up $10?
$10.
$10.
$10.
Well, you increased the other side last month.
Right.
So, okay. So there's a motion to be made for Mr. Seffarelli's request for that, for
So moved.
clarification. Okay, motion's made and seconded. Any other discussion or questions for John? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Thank you.
Opposed? Abstained? There you go.
Thank you.
Okay. Item number 1 under new business is to consider an act on authorizing the first selectman to sign the resolution adopting the South Central Regional Council of Governments Hazardous Mitigation Plan Update. Bob Britton, town engineer, submitted this. It's yeah, I just didn't take him yet. I figured when he came back. Any questions on this? It's pretty straightforward. We do it on a regular basis. Any questions for Mr. Britton? He is in the audience if he needs to question. COG is the handler of this, South Central Regional Council of Governments.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Unanimous. Okay. Item number 2, to consider and act on the request to approve a new front-end system for the tax office. Mr. Hurley, the tax collector, is here. This goes with the online paying, I believe, and all that. They had quite a ordeal with this. Pass me those. And Tom, you're up.
Good evening. You were given a summary sheet that showed the 4 participants that actually bid. We had 7 people express an interest in it. We had 4 very strong proposals. When we went out with the source selection, we had a scoring system. We followed that scoring system, and we followed all the rules for source selection. And we finally came up with what we think is the best proposal of the 4. And that's what we're asking you to approve tonight. One of the big things is that we're going to be able to have an individual account for our tax payers that will give them notifications. One of the things, for instance, that we have is people keep forgetting that they got to pay a January tax bill. I said, well, why don't you bill us twice? Well, because we don't do that. If you decide to split it in 2, it's your responsibility to know that. And we don't have any way, short of rebilling people, which we don't want to do because that's expensive and time-consuming. And we really don't want to have people pay late, so that's one of the big improvements with this new system. Right now, our current system on debit cards, we only handle Visa debit cards. Keep in mind, our system goes back to 2015 with Point and Pay, and it's their older system. It is being sunset. So if we don't do something soon, we're not going to be able to take credit cards. So that initiated this source selection. The second party here that was certified payments came in very close to Sturgis, but Sturgis was still the clear winner of the proposal. And if you take a look at your scoring sheets on there, you'll notice that Sturgis came in both. It was a two-phased rating system. The first one was a rating against the requirements. Requirements, we had 62 of them with subheadings, and there were 1,000 points because it was weighted. Okay? So Sturgis ended up with 810 points just at that point. Now, some source selections would have ended there, but we said there's more to this than that, and we said we're going to rank them 1, 2, 3, because some of these things are so close. Somebody getting a 4 versus somebody getting a 3, it can move you enough points to make a difference here. In this case, it did not. The second proposal came in 9 points beneath it, but that's very close. The other two were trailing in that regard. Let me tell you a little bit about what we're getting. One, 2 of the vendors are working, and Sturgis is one of them, with QDS right now. Sturgis has been working with a year for them to integrate. So our fears of that were actually not very concerning to me, because this company has over 350 instances of fully integrated tax filing systems across the country. They're good over 13 states. They were founded as Sturgis Web Services in 1999, and they became a division of Catalyst Payments in 2018. And Catalyst is considered a transformational software as a service company. So they have a very, very nice system. Mobile telephones, going to be offered. You're going to be able to pay your taxes off your phone now. Okay, that's one of the big pluses of doing this. Let's see here.
Tom, how long will it take to get it up and running?
We were hoping to try and get it for July, but when we couldn't meet the new deadline for your meeting last month, we had to put it off to April. And a lot of this is public training and public information so that they can get out there, set up their accounts, work with the system a little bit and whatever. And we felt if we did that, and when we collecting 55% of our taxes, that we were asking for disaster. So it will be probably August to September during the implement, and that will give us time to roll it out. Okay? It will be in place for the January motor vehicle assessments that we do in January. Little bit of a change. People used to like to, well, they still do, they like to take debit cards because they go directly against an account. The new way really is to go the e-check route. It's cheaper. They use cheaper rails, and this particular company is very strong there. They also have very strong corrections because they're with a company called Microbilt, which is a NACHA, which is the National Association of Check
Clearinghouse.
Clearinghouse, yeah. Anyway, Microbilt is one of their partners in that. What we looked at on here, a lot of these things, was the partnerships that some of these companies had. And this one just seemed to have the right everything. They're with PayPal. Everybody's comfortable with PayPal. PayPal handles crypto, so if you want to pay with crypto, that's fine because it's all translated to dollars, and we only worry about the dollars, and the risk is not on our side. You want to use any kind of professional cards, the diners clubs, the carte blanches. Can't do that today. You will be able to do that with this system that goes in, as long as it's branded by one of the major companies, which are, of course, MasterCard, Visa, Discover, and the major ones. So, again, very, very strong proposal here. Let's see here. Our payment solutions fully support all major browsers, including Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Microsoft Edge, and Apple Safari, and they do that on their mobile application as well. So not only can you do this on your computer, you're going to be able to do it on your phone. And a lot of our younger folks in town, they're on their phones all the time. That's how they do everything.
Everything.
So we're going to be able to handle that and meet that need. Right now, iPhones, iPads, and Android devices are the supported phones. So no BlackBerries, sorry. The clearinghouse has actually got 3 different ways to pay. Same day, next day, or fast access funding, which is 30 minutes. So for those of you who tend to wait to the last minute, you're going to be able to pay by check, and it's going to be processed and credited in time, provided you pick the right solution.
That's good.
Something we haven't had before. Some of you are snowbirds. Florida is a long way from here. A lot warmer usually, too. There's something called Vanilla Direct Pay through a company called Incom, which works with Sturgis. And you're going to have over 70,000 retail locations nationwide you can pay your taxes at. Big, big improvement, big change. People having excuses, well, I left it at home, I did this, whatever. They're going to be able to create their account online. They're going to be able to pull a bill down. It will have a code on the bill, and they're going to be able to go to a Walgreens in Florida and pay their taxes. Again, we put a lot of time into putting those in requirements, but these guys came up with the best.
Mm-hmm.
Citizens can make cash payments 24/7 right in their neighborhoods through those retailers, as long as the retailer's open. Training and other things I could go into, but I won't belabor you. They're very good with that. They've got strong help desks. Third-party vendors that are supporting this platform are WorldPay, Elevon, PayPal, Microbilt, American Express, Visa, MasterCard, and Ingenico. Those are the card readers, and Amazon Web Services. They have a very good dual system failover so that the system should not be down. And Amazon tries for 5 nines. And if you know what 5 nines are, that is basically you're up almost all the time. Okay, so they do, that's their big goal. Savings account. People complain they want to escrow their tax money. Well, we've got a way that they can do that where they keep control of their money by putting it in a savings account, and then they're going to be able to write an e-check against the savings account, and the money comes out at tax time. Okay, that's something that a lot of folks have asked for. We got it, and we got it covered. Let's see here. Okay.
Tom, I'm going to
Yeah.
ask them, because you have so many
Unbelievable.
possible
It's fantastic.
options here, I'm going to open it up to the table to see if there's might be easier if they have just a question
Sure.
for you on an item.
Sure.
And, PJ, I know is
I just had
interested.
two things, Tom. First, I appreciate you negotiating down the fee from 2.5 to 1.5. I think
Yep.
that'll help everybody, so thank you for that. And then when you had mentioned people wanting a second notice, I do think that's laborious, but you know, I signed up through the town's website. I get a text message for certain things, agendas and meeting notes and town news. You think it's possible that we could send out, they could
Alert.
sign up for an alert? Hey,
Tax time.
taxes are due in January, sign up. So it goes out in December and they get their second notice that way.
Well, what we tend to find is a lot of these people, it's out of sight, out of mind, even if you send them something,
Well,
because
listen,
we do
just- I mean-
send, you know,
If they're complaining, we gave them a solution. I mean,
well, like I said, this solution will give them an electronic email to make sure, you know, it's just one more way of reminding them, because I can't tell you the number of people this year who just said, "You know, I've been in town 30 years, and this is the first time I forgot." And I mean, we hear that a lot.
It happens.
yeah.
So we're
Thanks.
going to try and take care of that problem.
Mitch,
Tom, a couple of things. First of all, let me second what PJ said. I think that we have a mechanism for alerting people who sign up for alerts. So I think it'd be a great idea to you know, even if you signal a few people, that's a few less complaints you get.
there's a lot on that alert program now.
Yeah, no, but even if you get a few people that say, oh, I would have forgotten
Yeah.
if I didn't get that. So I think that's a great idea that PJ had. I just want to reiterate, just make sure we're on the same page now. So if you come with under this new system, a credit card is going to have a 2.5% convenience fee.
That's what we have right now.
A debit card is going to have a 1.5%
Yes.
convenience fee. An electronic check is going to have a $1.50 convenience fee.
Yes.
And all transactions are $3.95 on top of that, or just
No.
just the?
The fixed stuff is going away in the industry.
Oh, it's all going away. Okay.
And that's the problem.
The 2.5, the 1.5,
1.5 or
and
$1.95 for an e-check. That's
Depending
why
what
we
you
want
use.
people to go to e-checks. It's cheaper than they're doing now for anything.
They're
Our
$2 I
e-checks
think
right
they're
now are
$2,
$2, right? Well,
Yep.
if you're over 10,000,
Yeah.
it's $10.
Okay.
So,
No, it's good. I mean, you know, obviously the people have to realize they're paying a little bit extra to use the convenience, but then they can choose. They can come in with cash or a check.
that's
Yep.
true. We're still going to be here. We're not going anywhere.
The only you've answered my questions except for one, which is the only concern I really have. Besides the fact that I couldn't read, it was the number. The very important stuff was on blue, and it was dark blue. It was hard to read, but I think I figured it out. The only concern I really had is this Sturgis, from what I saw from not on what was given to us here, but what Ann sent out as far as the electronic stuff for us to read. They don't have a presence in Connecticut, or they didn't show any presence. They showed other towns, but they were in different states. I'm
Two of the
still a little-
vendors
Okay.
do not have a presence in Connecticut, but want one. When I mentioned earlier, Sturgis has spent the last year since we talked to them working with QDS, and they have a working system without a client to test it against.
Okay.
We're going to be a test client for that. On the other hand, it also makes us a very attractive target for those better rates and for what was an absolutely fantastic system.
Okay.
And you did say they work with Quality Data, who
Yes.
who provides data across the country.
That's key.
And they're based out of Waterbury.
Right.
Yeah, so, I mean,
That's who we-
Okay.
that was one of the requirements, that they had to do that. And the second place vendor also does not have one, but they have been working with the town for about the last 18 months, that the tax site is the last thing that town is using, so they haven't tested anything out there yet. But they moved the rest of the town over.
Okay.
And,
And the
if we had departments that wished to get in on this deal, there's provisions here where we could move them over.
And that was,
But
that was the
that's-
last point I had, was the
Yeah.
fact I read that, you know, we're going to be able to have other departments be able to take these forms of payment, which I think will be very helpful for throughout the town
Well,
hall. and
again, I
community
do
center.
not have the authority to speak on behalf of those other departments. The only one is Public Works right now, because they're using the QDS system, and that's where we're going to be
sewer
getting
bill.
our base data for the sewer bills.
But will we be able to use them for non-QDS? I mean, Jim, you mentioned just a few minutes ago that the Park and Rec is now taking online applications, which to me means you're also taking online payments. correct?
At this, yeah, at
Right.
this point,
They have a brand-new system, they're just rolling out.
getting the
Okay.
head shake from the back of the room.
Okay,
Because like the Park and Rec system works with a different system.
Okay.
Tied into the software. And that's the way it is in a lot of other places.
okay,
It's not gonna be able to work throughout the park.
Okay.
all right. Thank you.
Any other questions for Tom? If not, is there a motion to approve this as requested?
Make that motion.
So moved.
I have.
BJ made it, I
I have a
seconded.
question. Now, Tom, there's only two things. One, I always feel that debit cards are treated with no fee, and here, there is a fee, but I
Yep.
know you did get it reduced. My second thing is, and I feel very strongly about this too, will there be card reader use available at the counter?
Yes.
Okay?
Matter of fact, if you actually read the cost volume and let me
No,
just,
I just,
it's in there, and they're providing those at no cost to us.
I just wanted to make sure that was the question for the, I was
Other,
asked.
other vendors were either providing one or two, and then we would have to pay for extra ones,
Yeah.
or they were charging us per each item, and then they also had a monthly fee.
Okay. well,
So those, that was what, one of the vendors
Yep.
that hurt them a lot. Let's just word it that way.
Okay, motion's made and seconded. Any other discussion for Mr. Hurley on this? I think it's a great step forward. It offers a lot more new advantages
Right.
that we did not have. He did a really
Thorough.
in-depth, thorough evaluation process to
Tom.
make this work.
Awesome.
And I think the town will be better for it. So with that said, all in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain?
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Well done.
And good things are coming.
Yeah, good.
Thanks.
Okay. Item 3 is to consider an act on authorizing the first selectman to execute an amendment to that certain intermunicipal sewer agreement dated January 28th, 85, by and between the city of West Haven and the town of Orange, together with all other ordinary and customary documents that are related thereto and that may require his signature concerning 329 Smith Farm Road, Orange, Connecticut. Ben Marino's here and Bob Britton is here. This is, this document, it is where they're building the 46-unit affordable apartment project on Smith Farm, just in off the Post Road. It's coming along very quickly, and the developer of that is an Orange resident, just so you're aware of that. And they seem to be moving right along,
Yeah.
is all I can share on that at this moment. I know they have a couple buildings up, and I think it looks like the clubhouse building is up also. But it's coming along.
nice.
People are asking about it, questioning us on it. Mitchell?
So Jim, this just basically is saying we're going to tie in that facility to the sewer agreement between us and West Haven. That's what this is
Correct,
doing?
because when it's residential, I believe we have to get an amendment.
Yeah, so from time to time, what this is doing is it's expanding the sewer district to include.
I got it.
Saw Chris coming
Saw
out.
Chris coming. Duh.
Well, he has 4 monitors in front.
Go ahead.
It's expanding the sewer district to include this parcel. So what this agreement is saying is that this parcel is now within the sewer district. That's all that it's saying, and you're the legislative authority,
This, yeah.
and you're approving it.
This is the property there that Ed Kravitz owned. His father owned it before him, and they had it for sale for probably 30 years. It's behind Orange Fence and all that over there. And ultimately, the developer, like I said, who lives here in town, saw it and went through the process with zoning and everything. And
Awesome.
currently, our affordable quotient for the town out of 10%, the town of Orange is 1.35%. Affordable units, so just so people are aware of that number. People always ask, well, we must have a lot. Well, 1.35%. So with that,
Bless you.
the agreement is made. Any questions to the agreement? It's kind of
No.
cut and dry.
Do we have any idea how much is it, how much?
Just one
No.
clarification. As I read this, because there's no extra cost for the flow going into the sewer system.
Extra,
We're pay-
there is a fee. There's not an extra fee.
Is an additional fee
Not to the town.
Not to the town,
Not
to
to
the
the
sewer
town.
user.
to the user?
They have to install all the plumbing
Right.
and all that goes to it, and
I
it's
read that.
all, they do these by, I think by the water bill, is how they bill. What goes in, goes out.
Yeah, so there's no added expense to the WPCA as a result of this. Ultimately, the users will be paying a sewer use fee, as all the other ratepayers on the system pay. But there is no, we are well under our threshold of what we're allowed to be discharging into that system.
Actually, the town will make a little bit of money on it that goes towards the management costs for it, you know, so it's a positive for the town. Okay, with that made, is there a motion and a second on that?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Unanimous.
Jim, before we move on.
Yes,
you just-
Mitchell.
You just mentioned something that made me think of,
What?
there's questions have come up about a segue with the affordability.
Mm-hmm.
So this particular development is 100% affordable, correct? And how many units will that, do you remember?
46?
I think it's 46.
Okay. And the other question that's come up repeatedly that I don't know the answer to, the development on Old Tavern Road at Firelight.
Robert Sachs.
Yeah, is that any?
That's market- that's
none of
market
that.
rate.
None of that's affordable.
Yeah.
That's all market rate. Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to clarify for myself and for others that have asked that question.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no, same thing. So. Item number 4, to consider and act on request to approve contracts for funding of services, Silverbrook Estates. Now, mind you, it says funding of services, but we do not fund these services. We approve the contracts, but this is all approved with rents that are paid in, plus there's government subsidy monies of varied sorts with a type of this. It's an assisted living building that we own on Red Cedar Road. Was built when Miss Berger was first selectman, I believe. So you have 4 items here. The first one is regarding the congregate budget max of $330,000 and administrative budget max of $99,500. Yeah, they need approval for their budget, and then the housing management agreement between the town of Orange and Elderly Housing Management, a new 2-year contract that begins July 1st. Department of Housing Management Plan, ensuring the state of Connecticut Department of Housing that the town of Orange as owner and Elderly Housing Management as manager adhere to this proposed plan. And D, number 4, security contract with Orion Protective Services Incorporated. It's a 2-year contract beginning July 1st of 2023. Also, it seems like we just did these and they roll around so rapidly, but it is required for, as I said earlier, there's a lot of state and federal assistance that go into this, so that's why it rolls. John?
Point of order.
Go ahead.
Is it necessary for us to vote on each line item, or can I make a motion to include A, B, C, and D as presented?
In the past, we've done both ways. You can make it, that's why I read all
Yep.
4. So if you do it as presented, if do any of you have any question on any particular item here?
All right,
Seeing
then,
no question, you can do it in totality.
then I'll make a motion to approve the request as presented, A, B, C, and D, as shown on our agenda.
Okay, second.
Okay? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Unanimous. Very good. Okay. Item 5 is to consider and act on request to approve $50,615.48 in LoCIP funds for material for the playground and parking lot area at Fred Wolf Park. This was to prep it. Now, if any of you have been down there, they've roughed in the wood chip material that goes in some areas where there's playscape stuff and all, The rubberized materials will be going in, he said after the 15th, so I can't tell you exactly the day. The paving, there's a walk circle around it and a wiggle walk path down through the middle of it. That's going to be paved tomorrow. That's under the contract. That's under the money from the state. This was for the processed material to build the 180-foot circle. And for the base for the parking area, it should be, I think they said it's approximately 32 vehicles. It's 65 by 158, I think, the parking area that goes with it. So that's what this is for. This was for all that base material that was needed to make this what we're doing.
Okay.
And it's LoCIP money, which is, well, I think all of you here now know what LoCIP is, Local Capital Improvement Projects, money. And so that's money that comes from the state of Connecticut. It's not taxpayer dollars, not directly taxpayer dollars. So with that said, questions?
I just, and the driveway going in, is that?
That's not on the radar yet. That's another project.
Okay.
Yep. That's actually, the contractors that'll be bidding on that will actually, I'll probably show it to the guy who's doing paving tomorrow so he can work up his thoughts on it, but that's coming. But right now, we're doing step one before we do step two.
Jim?
Mitchell?
Yeah, so just to clarify, because we don't have any map or, anything more than just was in the agenda item here. You're talking about just processed material. We're not actually paving anything. We are paving. So I try to get my bearings straight.
All you're approving here is for processed. The paving that I just spoke of for the walk circle and the wiggle walk through the middle is part of the
playground itself.
The two grant monies.
Right, but I'm talking about, so you say, I'm sorry, material for playground and parking. So we're talking about processed material,
Base material.
we're
Not
not
the paving
paving anything with
We're not
blacktop,
at
so to
that
speak.
point yet.
Okay, we're not
No.
there. And, okay, it would have been, okay, so this is, you're talking about around the area, and there's a space on the side for parking? Is that what we're referring to here?
South of it, there's a parking area, yeah.
Okay.
Toward, after the playground? Probably after the playground towards Oakview, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So I'm
If you drive-
I'm
if you
envisioning
drive-
this, yeah.
Drive down there, take a look at it, and you'll see it. The next things, once they get their paving done, then they have truckloads of, the loam has already been trucked in for the areas that are gonna be grass areas. And then we will get because we already have the prices, because they bid it when they did the first parts, but we had to wait for the second parts to be done. I'm hoping that they will get going there's a piece of sidewalk that comes in there from the driveway, will come up up on top of the curbing, not in the driveway, and that will come up to the corner, to the intersection. There'll be a cutout there where it can drop down, they can exit the sidewalk, or turn right and head towards the parking lot. So there'll be sidewalk all the way around that, off the driveway area.
Okay.
And then the fence will be outside of the playground, inside of the sidewalk. The same fence as you have installed in the other areas already, across the driveway from it.
Jim, before the playground actually went in,
Mm-hmm.
that area, as it was processed and made ready for
Mm-hmm.
the playground itself, seemed to have very little drainage. Was there additional drainage put in, or
Put
just?
drainage in.
Put drainage was put in?
That's part of it. You'll see, if you go over there, the main pipe that carries it, the lines out, comes out kind of near the driveway where you come in off the Hollow Road. You can see it from
Okay.
there. Yeah, we put drainage in.
So there's drainage in there as part of the
As it
playground?
was being built.
Okay.
Yep,
Thank you for that clarification.
yep. So that's all there is. I mean, and I urge each of you, I know PJ's been down there a bunch of times with the other committee and John, but Mitch has been away, Ann's been there, I
went
think
down this
Judy's
past
been
weekend.
there. But take a ride down and see where it is.
Yeah,
so
no,
far.
I was conflicted at first if we were paving, should we wait until the consultants come out and give their opinions, but seeing as
This
this
is
is
in
a
the playground.
preliminary.
This is in the playground.
In the playground, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, this is in the playground. Okay, with that made, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any other discussion, questions, answers? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous. And you will see the next processes coming along as this is completed. I think they're hoping, the committee's hoping, what did Travis say? I think they're hoping for May to be able to have a opening of it. That's what I think, I believe they're hoping sometime in May. First they said June, but the way they're moving along right now, I think they'll make it sometime in May. I'm not quite sure, but the committee's been there a lot and they meet there on Friday mornings at like 8 o'clock. They were meeting there a few weeks, or Thursday mornings too, I think. So they can meet with the playground company to would solve their questions and concerns. So, all right. Item 6, to consider and act on approval of a town donation towards the Independence Day celebration. You were all copied on that, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm looking for the first piece. I don't have the email, right? No? Yeah, I don't need it in front of me, but because I had sent it out, I thought I had it here.
I remember it.
But all of you had that, I included you all on the email. We had a request
Yep.
from the conductor of this show for a donation, and it was larger than I individually would approve. So it had to wait and go to this board. It was a request for $30,000 for the fireworks and the band. I know that I did receive comments from several of you on that, and it's before us now, and you have the,
Fireworks.
you have the proposal here, and the, well, no, when I spoke of it, I just spoke of the event, Judy, overall. So you have some also prices that were submitted that Mr. Foyer had gotten for their event. Now, theirs is a little different than what we do, but there are prices there. People were absolutely thrilled with last year's show. However, this is,
That's what I gave them.
Yeah. Okay, so this was the one that was requested. And then you have some others to consider, and Mitch had asked about somebody else, but we didn't come through, but we're trying to get this hammered out, and all your thoughts are welcomed on this. Mitchell?
Several thoughts. First of all, what's being proposed to us, not what Donnie brought forward, is being proposed to us tonight for the $25,000 proposal. That is for the fireworks only, does not include the band. So, but the original $30,000, I think, was including the band too.
It did say that.
So here's the first question is, no matter what we approve on fireworks, is the rest of it going to be taken care of by the same entity that has done these shows in the past? Or are we going to be looking for more money for the rest of the situation?
To the best of my knowledge, no.
Okay,
What you approve is what you approve.
okay.
That's how
Second,
it's been in the past.
Right, okay.
Never have we put any.
no, I understand
other
that, but I want to make sure that, because I was surprised, I think we all were surprised to see the email you received, and just trying to react to it to understand fully what we're being asked for. And the next question is really, I'm not sure, Jim, if you know off the top of your head, and I should have prepped somebody
Got
for
it,
this.
got it.
Is what's that?
Go ahead, keep
Oh,
asking.
what did we contribute the last 2 or 3 years.
Got it.
Wow, Karnak.
It didn't happen in 20 because of COVID.
Right.
In 21, you did 8,000, and in 22, it says you paid 20,000.
So it's going up 5.
So but we did 20, okay, so that leads to the next question. Last year, we did 20,000 because we had the bicentennial, and because it was supposed to be the show to end all shows, and it was great. I have no complaints at all. The proposal we have tonight, is it exactly the same as what was done for the bicentennial, or are we going back to what we had before? So, I mean, are we paying 5,000 more for the same show we had last year? Or are we paying 5,000 more to go back to what we paid 8,000 for?
Ian had that, do you
And this is the
recall?
first time,
Wait a minute,
I've
wait,
seen the number of shells and all that. This,
2021, there were 1350 in shells.
I'm sorry, say that again, Ian?
There was 1,350 shells in the 2021 show. And that had 803 inch, 304 inch, and 255 inch. 2022, he gave you 1,400 shells. And then this proposal, it came in at 1,161, but they got them to add a few more, so 1,295 is the count in that proposal of $25,000.
So this is not only less than last year, it's less than the year before,
Yes,
for $5,000 more than what we paid for last year.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
They got like the last of their shipments from China and stuff going on.
Yeah.
So Don, they have half the amount.
Oh, yeah, their show is.
This show's quickie.
Yeah.
Half the amount.
And if you double that,
If you double it, it's still only 14,000.
Potentially, correct.
The fireworks that have been presented by Don, none of them, I look quickly, because we just got this tonight. I thank you for that, bringing that forward. None of them, though, propose any
No big
5-inch
shells.
shells,
Yeah, no.
of which you're looking at 150, 175 5-inch shells, which I'm sure, not being an expert on this stuff, I'm sure makes quite the difference.
Not the ones you lit off.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
And, you know, I think we've all been to the Fireman's Carnival, and the fireworks there are great, but it's a 15-minute boom, 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 boom,
Yeah,
and done.
this
And this
is-
is not the same as what we're expecting for 4th of July. I should say Independence Day, because we don't know what date it'll be on yet. Independence Day. I'm sure that the same people could do that kind of display, but as Jim knows, because I sent him a copy of my email, I tried to get the vendor that does what I'm told is I've never seen it because it's always the same as ours. I'm told does a fantastic show in Guilford. Actually, it's not the same as ours. They do theirs a week later, so it's cheaper because they do it the week after
I
July
asked that
4th.
same question.
They did. I was told last year's in Guilford was 18,000, but that was last year, and I don't know. So what I did is I took this whole proposal, knocked off the 25,000 part of it, and just gave the information. I was told I'd have a quote by yesterday, and I didn't get it even by today. If we don't make a decision tonight, I'll push harder, but if we have to make a decision tonight, I don't have anything for you as far as that's concerned. But I was trying to get an apples to apples, you know, because this looks like, you know, obviously Rocky's done this before. He knows what the town expects, and I'm sure people would expect, even though it's less shells, something along the lines of this kind of caliber show.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was trying to get, you know, apples to apples, which this does, honestly, I know it's a lot cheaper, but it doesn't come even close.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, no, he does a good job with this event. He works very hard at this event. He puts his heart and soul into this thing as if it's, you know, his own backyard, kind of. He does a great job with it. And it's the price, the increase, that gave me sticker shock when I saw it. And, you know, we do have some money coming in from a couple new cell tower leases. There'll be an additional little bump in the community fund there. But we used most of it, I think, previous. So, but I mean, I do have, or will have, 6,000 coming into the community fund from Dish. So that, I mean, you can make up that difference that way. If you stay status quo at what we did last year, there is this other community fund money that we can use that out of there if you want to go with the bigger show. The 5-inch shells are the thing that are the money, quite honestly. So do you want to give them a good show, or do you want to give them an okay show, or do you want to give them a mediocre show? You know how many people are there. I mean, it's estimated that there's, 8,000 or more people on the grounds that night, and it's enjoyed by many, and there's a lot of people that sit at other locations even to watch the fireworks. It is probably the family event of the season. And it's the one thing that we can all say that the town of Orange gives back to the people, so if they so choose to attend. Not everybody attends. So that's what you have to call on it. Like I said, it's just more than I was going to approve on my own. It's not the bicentennial year, so I was overridden there because they had their own committee, and, it's matches that. So is that what you want to do, or not, is the question.
So where would the funds come from? And if you're saying we got
The
6,000-ish?
guy over there.
I know, yeah, I know. John, you got an e-check?
For $1.95, you can submit it.
You gotta speak to your husband, but we have some funds in
All right.
accounts, we could come up with it.
And I have some in the different accounts, so, that Art controls, but I don't want it to sound like I control it, Art controls it. So, we can do it over at Wright's Farm, and then Unky will pay for it.
John, you have a question? Jim, does this have to be decided tonight? Is there any way we can?
He's trying to book the dates, he's holding them off this long.
Yeah.
To sign the dates, because the way he has it proposed now, where were we, the day before?
Second, I think,
And
second?
then he came back at me with a rain date of the 9th.
Which is what
Rain
day?
date would be the next weekend.
Can you do it on the 30th?
I got you. I mean, Ian asked them about doing it a week later, and they only shaved $1,000 off it. I was always under the
Really?
impression that
Really?
if you went the week after, you got a better
I would think.
deal, but I think now that,
Fortunately, everything's going up.
yeah.
It's just-
Yeah.
I mean, they got another problem in California now with both harbors where all the freight comes in from overseas. They're backlogging again because of the
Oh, really?
longshoremen there, and there's going to be a railroad contract under negotiation, and that could hold things up, and, yeah.
Jim, one last thing is the fact that we just don't know what is coming in as far as income. I haven't seen yet, I mean, maybe I missed it in Rocky's paper, asking for donations from corporate and from individuals. He has expanded this to food trucks, which I'm sure brings in some money. But of course, I understand the band costs money, and I don't know what he's paying for that either. But I think, we're being asked for a lot. I'm not sure we're getting everything, and we have one proposal, really. I mean, I respect
Well,
Donnie.
because he weeds them out.
Yeah.
He runs it,
No,
so
I
he weeds them out.
get
He
that.
makes that call, which he has always done,
Yeah.
and he's done a great job.
Okay.
So if you want to go with the 20, and I know I have 6, so you can actually go with 19 if you wanted. But I mean, we do have it this year because, like I said, I have those 2 dish payments that go to the community fund.
It's a difficult decision, and obviously we're not going to shut this town out of fireworks, so nobody should think that. I think, Jim, if we do this, and it looks like this is the first time I think we've been asked, instead of just a donation towards the event, is to actually pay for part of it being the fireworks. I'm willing, depending on the rest of the board feels, go along with this tonight, but I think next year, then we or maybe Bob Britton over here, or somebody should be pricing out and actually doing a full-blown quote. If we're going to take on the fireworks, we might as well get quotes for the fireworks and look at different dates. Then we can sit here and go, all right, if we do it on the 9th, it's going to cost us this much less, or do we want to do it on the 2nd and pay this much more? And we'll have apples-to-apples quotes. I would think we'd get more than one quote, and we'd be able to look at
You'll
it
get more
differently next year.
quotes. I mean, at
Look at
this
it
point,
differently
like
next
I
year.
said, he's done this for years. He's done a great job. He's never let us down.
I agree.
Never. So, I mean, I think that the people of Orange have come to expect it. You're not wasting their money. This is money from sources.
Well, then I'll make a motion to approve what's been presented, $25,000 for the fireworks.
Second.
And I think I agree with Mitch, the idea of perhaps next year, if we have some dialogue with Rocky prior to, and he says, if you guys can do that section for me, then you're right, let's get in the bids, let's look
He'll
at it.
he'll handle the band and
Yeah.
you'll handle the.
Right.
The boom booms.
The boom booms. I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were saying that.
So funny.
So I think that's a great idea, I really do.
Okay, that's fair. You have a motion made, and I'll talk to him about that. I'm sure he'll be receptive to that.
Yeah, one less thing he has to worry about.
Exactly. I mean, because there's a lot that he puts into it, and I mean, a lot of things. So, all right, very good. Then motion's made. We've had the discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
Bring on the boom boom.
Bring on the boom booms, Rocky, if you're watching. Okay. To consider, to consider an act on request to hang banner for the Orange Volunteer Firemen's Carnival being held August 3rd through 6th. Mr. Foyer is sitting home eating his popcorn. By now, he may have run out of popcorn watching this, but it's the standard banner they put.
Right.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Just so you know, they're adjusting the hours this year for it. They're going to be opening at 3 in the afternoons on the Saturday and Sunday instead of, and they'll close at 11 on Saturday. Just Saturday, and no, Sunday. Yeah, and, yeah, so then he'll close that, but they're adjusting the hours for it too is coming up, so. Okay, banner's approved. To consider an act on request to conduct a block party in the Ox Yoke Road neighborhood. We have a letter here from Amanda Ray and Michelle Hawes. Not a problem. Motion, who made it? Somebody made it. Mitch made it. Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Okay. Ann has things that day too, so it better not rain.
You know where it is, Chris?
To consider an act on request to approve tax refunds totaling $13,044.01.
So moved.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, unanimous. Okay. Pension Board, Mitchell,
No report.
okay.
We did have a lawyer meeting.
Fred Wolf Park.
Wait,
Fred Wolf Park. Anything to report? If not, that's okay.
No, I mean, we're scheduled to have an April 19th meeting. However, we're struggling right now with the quorum, so we may have to continue that meeting. We have met several vendors who are interested in the job and are in the process of submitting proposals to us for our review. So when we have our next meeting, whenever that might be, we'll be in a position to review what's been presented to us and then come back to this board with hopefully,
With transparency.
yeah, with transparency and some hope to get something planned. Thank
Okay.
you.
Boom, booms. Okay. The last item on the agenda tonight is executive session for the 2022-2025 proposed labor agreement between the Town of Orange and UPSU Local 424, Unit 73, Orange Supervisors. I just asked, we'll take a 5-minute break here when we go offline, and we invite Finance Director Cifarelli in. No, you can pack up. Or roll over. Okay. Good evening, folks. We are now, have come out of executive session. It is 9:48. I'll call. Really? The glare hits it right at the right spot. No, if you sit here, you'll see the glare is right there. Okay, so we're out at 8:46. I apologize. We were in executive session discussing the proposed labor agreement between the Town of Orange and UPSU Local 424, Unit 73, the Orange Supervisors. Is there a motion to be made on this item?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve that labor agreement as discussed in executive session with those changes that were addressed at that time.
Second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous. Okay, I will say that we, unless anybody has anything else to come before this table, I will say motion to adjourn at 10 of 9.